Dear all, welcome to the playlist of Training on Competitive Examination. This video will be really useful. Those who are preparing for PSC, then IES, GATE examination, RRB examination, etc. First of all, I would like to show 5 questions. All the questions are based on power system. So I request you to note down the right answer. So I'll be displaying the question one by one. You can see the particular question and provide the right answer. If you want, you can pause the video and provide the correct answer. Later, I'll be having a detailed discussion. Okay. All the questions are based on the power system, then like generation, transmission, distribution. Okay. There are 5 questions. So if possible, you please note down the right answer. Later, let us have a brief discussion. Now I'll be having the discussion about individual question. Moving on to the first question, you can able to read. The base load power plants are wind farms, run-off river plants, nuclear power plants, diesel power plants. Which could be the right answer? Actually, for base load, you have to bifurcate what is base load power plant and peak load power plant. So based on that, we can able to say that wind farms, then run-off river plants, and nuclear power plants. These are called base load power plant. Okay, so PQR is the right answer. So let us select option C. Option C is the right answer for this question. So I would like to discuss very fastly about what is the difference between peak load and base load power plant. Let us talk about the base load power plant. So base load is the level that is typically does not go below, that is the base amount of the electricity that is always required, where the peak load is the daily fluctuation or electricity use. Okay, base load that is available completely for 24 hours. Peak load will be typically the particular peak, it's only available. Especially you can talk about the gas turbine and diesel power plant. It's called peak load power plant, where the base load power plants are coal, nuclear power plant, hydroelectric, geothermal, biogas, all are collectively known as base load power plant. So the diagram depicts the base load and the peak load power plant. You can able to see the base load. It's always it should be always available from 0 to 24 hours. Okay. And if I talk about the peak load, so these are the peak load power plant. Okay. So this is the major difference between base load and peak load power plant. Let us discuss the second question. Moving on to the second question, for a fully transposed transmission line, which are the right answer? Which one is the right answer? Okay. So in this particular question, for a fully transposed transmission line, we can able to say that the positive and negative sequence impedances are equal. So that's the right answer from the 4 options. I would like to go for option B. Option B is the correct answer. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of transposition? The main purpose of transposition is to reduce the crosstalk, and otherwise it will improve the transmission line. So that's the main purpose of transposition. Okay. So you can go through the particular diagram for understanding the importance of transposition. Majorly, it reduces the crosstalk. Okay. Definitely that is required whenever power line is passing nearby telecommunication lines. Otherwise, EMI problem will be arised. Okay. So that's the importance of transposition. It prevents cross-talking. Question number 3. If a star side of the star delta transformer shown in the figure, this is a star delta transformer excited by a negative sequence voltage, then which relation would be right? So you need to understand the basics of star delta transformer and which would be the right answer. VAB leads VAB by 60 degree. Okay, this would be the VAB. Okay, you can able to see the VAB at the secondary side. Okay, primary is star and the secondary is delta or mesh connected network. And VAB lags VAB by 60 degree. VAB leads VAB by 30 degree. VAB lags VAB by 30 degree. Which could be the right answer? So according to the star delta transformer connection, so I should go for option C. So I have prepared a brief information about star delta transformer. So let us understand the basics of star delta transformer. So you can able to see the star delta transformer connection. This will be the primary and secondary will be delta. Okay. And also you can depict the star delta connection in this manner also. These dots are representing the same polarity. Dot convention you must have studied. So I have written the speciality of star delta transformer. So please go through the point number 1 to 8 to understand the basics. What is the transformation ratio? And what about the primary? How about the connection of secondary? And please go through question point number 9 and 10, which is more apt for this particular question. The secondary phase voltage, that is equal to the transformation ratio divided by root 3 into line voltage of primary side. That's a one of important point. And another important point is there is a plus 30 degree or minus 30 degree phase shift between secondary phase voltage and primary phase voltage. Based on that, I can able to confirm the option C is the correct answer. So this is regarding the star delta connection of the particular transformer. You have to understand about the basics. Question number 4. Shunt reactors are sometimes used in high voltage transmission systems too. Which is the right answer? Limit the short circuit current through the line, compensate for the series reactance of under heavily loaded condition, limit over voltage at the load side under lightly loaded condition, and compensate for the voltage drop in the line under heavily loaded condition. Which could be the right answer? You have to understand the importance of shunt reactors, where you are going to install shunt reactors, why shunt reactors are required. So based on the concept, I can go for option C. Limit over voltage at the load size under lightly loaded condition. At that time, we are going to use shunt reactors. So the option C is the apt answer, right answer. I should go for option C. Option C is the correct answer. So I have collected some information about shunt reactor. Okay, the shunt reactor is an absorber of reactive power, and it is majorly used for reactive power compensation, and it increases the energy efficiency of the system. It is the most compact device commonly used for reactive power compensation in long high voltage transmission line. Okay, that's a specialty of shunt reactor. Okay, and the shunt reactor should be capable of withstanding maximum continuous operating voltage. So that's a specialty of shunt reactor, and the temperature withstanding capacity will be 150 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that's actually the importance of shunt reactor. You can able to see the diagram of shunt reactor where it has been installed in a particular yard of the substation. Let us discuss the last question. In a long transmission line with the R, L, G, C. Okay, these are the parameters. Okay, that means R stand for resistance, L stand for inductance, and G stand for shunt conductance, and C stand for capacitance per unit length respectively. The condition for distortionless transmission is A, RC is equal to LG, R is equal to root of L by C, RG is equal to LG, G is equal to square root of C by L. You do understand the importance of each and every parameter. What is R, L, G, and C? The right relation is RC should be equal to L into G. But this condition never satisfies. There won't be any distortionless transmission line. It is highly impossible, but this is the ideal condition. I have to go for option A. So I have collected some information about the distortionless transmission line, or you can call lossless transmission line. When the conductor is perfect and dielectric lossless, then we'll say that it's a distortionless transmission line. And we have to consider about one factor regarding attenuation. So what do you mean by attenuation? The attenuation is the loss power due to transmission. So it is measured in Nepper units. That is very important point. Okay, Nepper unit. Attenuation will be measured in terms of Nepper unit. You know, 1 Nepper is equal to 8.68 decibel per meter. So this is actually another important point. Okay. So I hope you have verified the answer. Let me know how much you have scored and you can verify. Okay. If you are having any queries, you can put up in the comment box. So if you are looking for competitive examination, you can check my another channel, Winner's Capsule. Okay. Finally, thank you very much for watching this video.